All right, in this video, we're going to be creating graphs for our data from the Stair Lab. Okay, so let me just bring the Stair Lab in here. So we're going to be graphing the data for work and power for each student. Okay, so we're going to be using Microsoft Excel to do this. To open up Excel, you're going to go down to the Start menu. I have it pinned on my Start menu here. You may or may not on yours. To bring it up, you can just type in EXCEL and it will open up. All right. So the steps on how to create the graphs are in your lab document, but I'm going to walk you through the steps in this screencast. So I'm going to create, step number 1 is create a blank workbook. So you can click on this button right here, or you can click new. Okay, so here's my blank workbook. I'm going to go ahead and enter my data. You have a picture of what it's supposed to look like. So I've got walk, run, and then I'm going to put in the names of my students when I'm actually entering this, but I'm just going to use student A, student B, student C, and then student D. Okay. But when you go to enter your data, you want to enter the actual names. Okay. Notice I left this first one blank. Okay, and then I'm going to enter my data. I'm just going to throw some numbers in here. You're going to enter the actual data here for work. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some random numbers in here. How about that and that? Okay, so there's my data. Step number 3 says select your data. So we're going to select from this blank cell all the way down to the corner here. And then we are going to go up to insert. We're going to do a different type of graph this time. We're going to do a bar graph, or also known as a column chart. So we're going to go up here. We want a 2D column chart, okay? And we want this to be the clustered column. You've got a stacked column. You've got a 100% stacked column. We want this one right here, okay? Clustered column. So that'll group the data, the run and the walk data for each student. Okay, so we need to edit the names of the charts. So this first set of data is for work. So we'll do work. It's going to be the y-axis versus the x-axis. So our work data, okay, the units of work are joules. So this will be joules, or I could call it work, or how about work versus student. Okay. Or something along those lines. It should be the y-axis versus the x-axis. Okay, the next step is to create axis titles. So I'm going to click the plus sign here. I'm going to go to axis titles. Okay, down here at the bottom, these are going to be our students. We've got student A, B, C, D. And then the title up here is going to be work. And the units for work are joules. Okay, so your chart should look just like this. Now we're going to go down to the bottom here where it says sheet 1. Double click on that and you can edit it, and we're going to type in work. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to click on the plus sign down here to create a new sheet. We also want to include our data for power. Okay, so for the first graph, you should have used the data for work for each student. Now we're going to use this other time. We're going to do the power column, okay, for both walking and running. So again, we're going to have our 2 columns here. So we're going to have first our walk and then run. Then we'll have our students listed out. Student A, student B, student C, student D. Okay, I'm just going to throw in some numbers again. You're going to enter your actual data here. Okay, so I'm just going to throw in some random numbers. Don't use my numbers because it'll be wrong. All right. Same steps. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to go up to the Insert menu. I'm going to go over to the bar graphs, and I want the clustered one. Okay, I'm going to call this power versus student. Okay, and again, we need our titles, so I'll click the plus sign. I'll go to titles. This one at the bottom will be student. And this one will be power. The units for power are watts. So I'll just put a big W right there. Okay, when you're done with the graphs, oh, forgot one step. I'm going to go back down to the bottom here, and I'm going to rename this tab power. Oops, didn't mean to capitalize that. Perfect. Okay, so you've got work and power. Okay, your graph should look different when you tab between them. If they look the same, you probably messed up. Okay, mine looks the same just because I use the same numbers. Okay, now, to save this, you go up to the menu up at the top, File, Save As. You're going to want to save it to your OneDrive, and then just give it some fancy name, okay? So, Mr. Zorn's Fancy Graphs. Okay, and then save it. When you go to turn in your assignment on Google Drive, sorry, not Google Drive, Google Classroom, you want to attach that file to the assignment, to the graphing assignment, so that I can see your graphs. Okay? Good luck and have fun.